Hello and welcome to final project check-in number 2. This is for Michael and Katie's group explaining the backend database and the structure of how the backend database will be set up. So to kind of showcase this, I'm going back to lab 9 where we introduced XAPI statements. Just as a quick refresher, looking here at XAPI statements, they're kind of made up of 4 components with the actor, verb, object, and then result in this case, which will be used for our multiple choice question. All of these will then be generated, will generate data into the database through PHP and then the data can then construct the front end visualization that the user, in this case, the teacher, would analyze. So if we come here to look at a sample of this in action. So this question here that I made using H5P. What is 5 squared? 25. And then we can click check, see that we got it correct. That data will then go into 2 places. The first being this plugin that we used to kind of catch these XAPI statements, this H5P XAPI catcher. And basically here you can see the actor ID. That's basically just who is interacting with and answering the question, as well as as I just said, that they can attempt, interact, and answer. Attempt being engaging with the question, interacting, choosing and sample and answer choice, and then answered being locking that in. So you can see here how that works with the object in question being the multiple choice question that I just answered, and then those as well as the result, which will show if they got it correct or not. Furthermore, you can also see the time that it takes someone to answer a certain questions, which can all be used to showcase different things in the front end visualization of this data. So then to kind of dive into this more, if we go into PHP for this WordPress site I created here, you can see that, as I was just saying, the actor, object, result, and verb all generate different pieces of data here based on people answering these questions, these sample multiple choice questions. The actor will include like an actor ID, actor name, which the teacher can use to distinguish between students answering the question. The object is basically the question in hand. So for this WordPress site, I actually have 2 questions. One being what is 5 squared? The other is what sound does a cow make? And that just basically shows the different choices that someone could pick for these questions, and then assigning data to reflect whether they're getting it correct or not, which then goes into the results database, which shows the success and completion of answering questions, as well as the time it takes a certain student to answer the said question. So like, for example, the teacher can then take this data and see if there's a certain question that a student is taking a long time on, then that they will know that question might be more difficult than something that took students a shorter amount of time. Lastly, we can go into this database of showing whether someone, as I had touched on earlier, attempts, interacts with, and answers questions. If you kind of combine all of this data, you can then reflect the overall scope of how students are doing on these multiple choice questions, and then all of this data can be combined and summarized to formulate the front end visualization of this backend database. So if we then kind of closing it out, if we go to and kind of see how this works in action, it'll generate XAPI statements for each student who answers a certain question and can be generated to use the front end or to create the front end.